Okay, hello guys. Today I'm going to show you how to make a map using QGIS for elections. First of all, you're going to obviously want to download QGIS, which you could just search up, press like this. Most recent download is probably fine for this. Also, you're going to need a spreadsheet software. Excel is probably the best for that, which you get in Microsoft Office. You can get it for free if you're part of an institution, or you could also pay for it. Alternatively, if you don't have money, you could just get LibreOffice, which is free. Also, QGIS is free, so you don't have to worry about that. For this map, I'm going to, before I start with this, I should actually probably show you some of the functionality of Excel. I'd assume it's just similar for LibreOffice, but this will be necessary for later. So first of all, if you want to enter data into cell, you just select the cell. You can also double click and it'll show this, but select the cell, just type in whatever you want, and you could press enter and it'll save it, or if you're like in a cell, you could just click off on another cell and it'll save it. Then another thing is you can select a row by clicking on top of one of these things. Similarly, for these things, you click this, it'll select the whole thing, click this, it'll select the whole thing, and you can also drag click across to select multiple. Also, if we type in a number or something, we could do formulas. Another thing, what I'm going to say is, regarding formulas, let's say we do like this plus 1, that'll be like a formula. Since this is based off of this adjacent cell, when we copy this cell, it's going to paste the formula that has this same thing, except all of the cells in it are going to be relative to where the cell is previously. So since this cell is 1 to the left of this, if I say type 1 here and then I paste this over here, okay, I'd have to recopy it, I guess, and paste it over here, it'll paste it relative to there. Also, another thing to note is that if we, first of all, you can copy things like this and just paste like that. That's just Control C, Control V. That's very basic. But if you do like Control Shift and then in any direction, so that was Control Shift right arrow, that'll select everything in that row. Control Shift down, similarly same thing. Also, if you do Control down, it's just going to bring you to the bottom of that selection or in any other direction. And those are just some of the basic Excel functionalities that you'll need to know. And we'll get back to that later. Then, what you're going to... So for this election, I'm going to use data from... first of all, I'm going to be mapping out this election, the Ohio State Senate result in the 32nd District. And I'm going to get the results from here, the Ohio Secretary of State website. Click download on this. Oh, I already downloaded it. Let me delete this. Yeah, I already downloaded this earlier to check it out. And we're also going to be using a shapefile from here, so I guess while we wait, OH, by the way, is the 2-letter code for Ohio. You should probably know all of those beforehand, or you could just like Google them. Then once you're here, we're going to look for State Senate. That's going to be under General Assembly. And if we scroll to the side, first of all, I'm going to, as I showed you earlier, select these. You can also drag these, and it'll create the side. This will just be for the H column, but it replicates that width for all the other columns. And you can see every single column now is equally width, and it's the width of what I just made the H column. Next, we're going to look for State Senator in the 32nd District, which is this one. And we are going to just drag here, and then, as I showed you earlier, Control Shift down to copy. Did I copy both of them? Yes, it did. Just shifted it over for some reason. And for this, I'm gonna paste it 2 over, which you'll see why that's important later. If you're doing like a different map, though, it probably wouldn't matter. Usually, I would copy the IDs first, but that is I don't know why I did that first. It doesn't really matter. But for this, since these precinct codes are not unique, we're going to have to use county names and precinct codes to make our IDs. So I'm going to copy this and paste this here, and then do the same thing with this. Control Shift down again, Control C, and paste it here. I'm also going to get rid of these things. These are pretty annoying and they're unnecessary. Copy. What am I doing? Control up, paste. And then we could probably also delete these last two since they're repeats, but it doesn't really matter. Then what we are going to want to do is we are going to want to create our IDs based off of this data here. I gotta resume this first. We'll have to wait for it to load. Okay, looks like it's done. And this part with the IDs is really important because it's what joins our data together. So for us to have data that matches together well, we need something called a unique identifier, which is that every single one, because each of these rows is an individual precinct, we need a unique identifier that identifies this, which we could join in QGIS. And in this case, it'll be either this, or maybe this, but we're not going to use this. I don't know. This might not be unique. But these two are unique. And since this one's smaller, and you can see it already has these IDs here, which are these precinct codes. But what we have trouble with is getting the first 3 digits, although it's not really that much of a problem. Basically, the way each of these works is these are numbered based on the county in alphabetical order. So if I should probably explain to you what I'm doing. So first I'm copying this row, and then you press this plus arrow to add a new sheet. Click sheet 2, do Control V, and then up here you're going to type remove duplicates. And this is, by the way, how we're going to create the other 3 that we need. Basically, these are numbered. Obviously, it's 3 digits, and they're numbered from 1 to however many counties in Ohio there are, like 80 something. And basically, they are numbered based on the names of them. So Adams is like 001, this is 002, 003. And basically, we're going to have to create that, which isn't that much trouble to do. So basically, the way we're going to do that is we're going to do equals 1. And then I'm just going to add these, and then we'll add the zeros after. So this is going to be this plus 1, 1, and then like I showed you earlier, you could just drag this down, and then you could paste, and it'll drag all the formulas. So I think it's 88 counties. Then we could use more complicated formulas to make it so that the zeros are based on the amount of characters they have, but for now we don't really need that. So I'll just do first of all, these quotations mean that it will be pasted as text, so if we did it without the quotations, it wouldn't work. So we have to do that, and then we do this, and then we'll copy these for all the 1-digit strings so that it is 3 digits total. Then for this one, I guess I'll paste it, but just modify it so that there's 1 0. Then paste these for all the rest of them because the rest are only 2 digits. And then this should work. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. I just did the Control Shift down thing again, and I'm going to paste here, but I'm going to paste as values, not regular, because you see, it makes it based off of that. So we want values. Then we could delete this, and up here it doesn't matter what we type. I'm just going to write FIPS. That's actually not even FIPS, because FIPS would be by 2, but whatever. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to create the new ID. I guess I'll title it the same thing so I don't have to recall what it is later. This is going to be our unique identifier that we need to match with this later. And what we're going to use now is a command called the VLOOKUP command, which goes equals VLOOKUP. Then the thing that we're going to be looking for in the table, which is Adams, the name of the county. Then we go here, and then we can select the whole thing, which we do by selecting these top rows. Then we're going to do a comma, and then the number of the column that we want. So this one is the first one, and then this one is going to be the second one. We want the one in the second one, which means we do 2, and then we're going to type false so that we have an exact match, and then we press enter, and you see that that'll work like that. And also after that, since we have that, we could also type after this VLOOKUP command and this will give the exact ID number. So this is actually an ID that is on this table. If we do, I just selected that whole thing by clicking the top again. If we do Control H and we do find 001 AAA, find next, you'll see that that's an actual thing in the table. Then what we're going to want to create is we're going to want to create a total column, a D% column, an R% column, and a D minus R column. For total, it's going to be equals, sum, and then you can drag the selection of all the totals that are in this same row for all the candidate totals. Or alternatively, what you could do is you could do equals and then this plus this, and either of those will work. For D%, I believe Sean O'Brien is the Democrat. Yeah. Wrong thing. So what you're going to do for this is you're going to do equals and then click on the name in the adjacent row for the Democratic candidate. So it's going to be this one. So it's the vote total for the Democrat, and then we're going to do the divided by and then the total. Enter. Here it's going to give a div 0 error, but there are ones later on where it won't, and it doesn't really matter if we have div 0s for this. It would, though, if you were not using gradients. RPCT, it's going to be the same thing except for the Republican, so I do equals, click this, that's the Republican candidate, vote totals, and then we do divided by, and then the total. And then D minus R is going to be equals this minus this, so the Democrat percent minus the Republican percent. Then what we can do is we can copy these, and then what we want to do is we want to select all of these down here, but if you look through the whole sheet, this is like 8,000. That's going to take forever to do. So the easier way to do it is just click this adjacent cell in the D row, or click any one on the top of the D row. It really doesn't matter. Then do control down. This will bring you to the bottom of that row. Then press the right arrow. That'll bring you one over to the side, and then do control shift up arrow, and that'll select all of them. And you can do control V, and it fills in everything. Now we are done with this. So I'm going to press X. And we're going to want to save this, save changes to file. Of course, you're going to click save, choose the location. I already have it set by default to where I want it to go, so I'm going to type Ohio_final, and now we have that saved. Then this doesn't matter, you could just click don't save. Then what you're going to do is open QGIS. I already had that done. Then up here, click in the thing in the top right or top left that says new project, or control N as it says. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to your folder, and you could either drag in your .shp file or just the whole zip file. I usually just drag the whole thing in because I don't like to save things to my computer, but if you want to save it, you're going to want to drag in the .shp. Yeah, if this thing pops up, just press enter for this. Next, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to project it so that it looks normal, because if you can see right now, the shape of Ohio, it looks kind of stretched, not normal. So what you do is you click this thing in the bottom right. I probably should highlight more. It says EPSG 4269. Click that, and then in this filter box, you're going to want to type Ohio, since that's the state we're doing. Up here in this top box is going to show the ones that you've already done before. This one I have done before, so I'm probably going to use that one. But you could also see in this other coordinate reference system down here that I'm scrolling through, these are, since you're going to be using it for your first time, presumably when you're seeing this, you're going to want to go down here and find one that you want to use. But yeah, I'm going to use this one since I've already used it before for like consistency. And then you press this button that says apply in the bottom right. Then just press enter if it pops up something like that. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to zoom to layers. Now, one thing I forgot to do beforehand was to get the actual state legislative district boundaries for this. So I'm actually going to go to the Census right now. You could just, yeah, search up Shapefile thing, or I'll probably like link it in the comments to this. Just waiting for this to load, and we're going to need like the district boundaries for this. So I guess we can go to 2016, and then we are going to want the state legislative districts for Ohio. Now, in Ohio, there's the State Assembly and the State Senate. The State Senate is the upper chamber, so we're going to want to go here, go down to Ohio, and click download. Then once this loads, of course you can extract this and put in the SHP file, but yeah, we don't need to worry about that. So yeah, yeah, I dragged that in. Then what you're going to want to do is, you can see down here in this layers menu in the bottom left, you can select them by clicking on them. First, before you do anything, you should also drag in your file that you saved. So just drag that into QGIS. The one that says sheet 1 was the one where we used for the VLOOKUP. We don't need that. We only need the sheet 1 thing, not sheet 2. So press OK. And you'll see it also pops up in the layers menu. Then what you're going to do is you're going to want to click on the shapefile that actually has the precinct boundaries, which is this. By the way, you can click these checkboxes next to them to hide them. So I'm just going to do that for the state center right now. Then what you're going to want to do is right click on the precinct map and click in the bottom of the menu properties. It'll pop this up. You should go to symbology on the left tab. Right now it's already selected, but if not, you could just type symbology and you'll see it'll pop up. Then click on this thing that says simple fill, and you're going to want to click here, click edit, and then you're going to want to type in this expression, ramp underscore color. And then here, I'll show you how to do this later, but you have to create a style for the map. The default one is RDBU, like that, so you should probably use this for now, but I'll show you how to make another one later. For me though, I already have one made. It's called full color. Then you're gonna, after you type that in, first of all, these are done with apostrophes, then a comma, space, and then scale underscore linear parentheses. Then in this menu over here, click the down arrow and click under fields and value. Oh, I didn't join it yet. Oh, forget this thing I'm doing. Don't do that yet. Actually, before you go to symbology, you go to joins, and then click this green plus arrow. Then of course we're going to want to select the spreadsheet that we just dragged in, and for this we're going to want to, of course, match the unique identifiers that we've created. So that's going to be this one, and since we made them the same name, they're easy to recognize. Press OK and press apply, and that should be fine. Then symbology, go back to what I was doing. I'm just going to retype it in because I already talked about it. Scale underscore linear, that's what you're going to type. Then parentheses, go down to field and values, and the one that says D minus R, that's the one that you created that actually has the percent margins. That's the one you're going to want to click on. So double click that to add it to the table. Then you'll also see a space right here in between these two. Just delete that. Then go to the end of the selection and type comma space -1 comma space 1 comma space 0 comma space 1 and 2 closing parentheses. Then press OK and press apply, and you'll see that the actual map pops up. But as you can see, there's all these annoying other precincts around here that we don't really want. There are really two ways to get rid of it. One is a pretty basic solution, which is you just make all of these transparent and then get rid of the lines, and that is a temporary solution. But if you want it actually separate, the best thing to do is probably to clip it. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to, of course, recheck the actual district boundaries that we found before, and we are going to click on the district, which is this one. You'll see in the bottom here it says State Senate District 32. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to right click on I forgot what I just said. Go up here to the top where it says vector, click on that, then click on geoprocessing tools and go over to clip and clip that, or press that. Then for this thing, basically what it does is it takes a district boundary and it cuts the precinct map to only that. So if you think of it as like a cookie cutter cutting dough, yeah, that's basically sort of what it is. So basically the cookie cutter layer basically would be this district boundary, which is this file over here, and that's going to be the overlay layer. So that's going to be the one we put down here, and also we're going to want selected features only, otherwise it won't do anything because you can see it has all these other districts. So we only want the selected district, and then for the input layer, we are going to want the actual precinct boundaries, which is the so-called dough. Then you're going to want to press run, and that should work like that. If you're doing this for another map, sometimes it won't work, and it'll say like this file has invalid geometry. If it ever does that, just type in this processing toolbox, fix geometries, double click on that, and like whichever file it said isn't working, put it into that, and then use that as whatever layer it needs fixing. So now that we have this, I'm going to uncheck both of these, and then you can right click on the newly clipped layer and click zoom to layer so that it zooms properly. And then we're just going to basically do the same thing that we just did before. You didn't have to type it for the previous one, I was just showing you how it worked. You really only have to type it for this. And also clipping it will store all of the link data. So I'm just going to type the other thing that I typed before. And I'm going to try to do this really quickly so that we can get to some other issues. There, press apply, and it'll save it. Then you could also change this for like the no data color. I'll just make it white. And then I don't think there even are any in this district, so we don't have to worry about that. And then you could also, of course, change the what's it called? The stroke color right here, which is this border color that you see in the precincts. You could change the width here, so if we made this like 5, you'd see the lines get thicker. If we made it 1, it'd get much thinner. And you could also change like the color if you want to make this like green or whatever. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but it can do that. And then if you don't want it at all, or you want like dashed lines, you could do this. Usually I just keep this off though, so I'm just going to turn this off. Then once your map is done, you're going to want to go to project, import, export map to image. I usually like to increase the resolution on it. I just set to 1000, but that'll give you like a really large file size. Then download it to wherever you want to. I'll just type in test. And once that is done, we can go to downloads, and we'll see it's here. Another thing though is, yeah, and once this is done, you could just like press X. Project, this one more time. Yeah, you might also want to save those to permanent layers. I think, yeah, like this. You could create a shapefile layer and actually save it to this with that, but I usually don't do that. And then you could of course save it or not. I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm not gonna discard this right now, but that's just how you would do it. Next, I'm gonna show you how to actually create your own style, like how I made this full color thing one. Making your own is definitely much better than actually using the custom one or using the built-in one, because if you use the built-in one, you'll see that it looks much worse. Yeah, that doesn't look that good. And basically the way you do that is go up to here, this button that says Style Manager, click on this plus arrow, and you're going to want to create a gradient. Then, first of all, these endpoints, they're unmovable. So these are just going to be your end colors. And yeah, but you could also double click on the middle to add one or whatever, click on it, and you'll see it has this relative position thing. You could change this so that it's like wherever you want. So if you want this to be like 40, it'll move it there. And it basically goes all the way on the left is 0, all the way on the right is 100, and this is linear. And then you can also go down here to change the color. So if I wanted to make it like 808080, which is like the Wikipedia gray, you could do that. But for your maps, you're gonna want to make the lefts blue, or no, the left is you're gonna want these to be like red. Oh, also you could select on one of the non-endpoints and press the delete key to remove it, and you're gonna want to make the right portion like blue or something like this. And then you're probably also gonna want to add like something in the middle. You could also add, I think you could add basically like infinitely as many of these as you want or whatever. That doesn't really look that good, but that's because I'm in like 2 seconds. And then once you're done, you press OK, type in a name. This is the same name that you'll use in there, so if I typed in like test or whatever, I'm not going to do that. But if you did, that would be the name that you type in under here. You type in here, and you type in test. Of course, that's not going to work because I didn't actually save it. But yeah. That's my tutorial on QGIS. Probably will post more on issues regarding it, but yeah, that's the main things.